What's that sound? It's aliens and they're living in your town. Damn. They have arrived. They're all around. So many aliens living in your town.
Hello, weirdos out there in Weirdo Land. How the heck is everybody doing?
Solid.
Yeah, not doing bad. I love this weather.
It is good weather, Dennys, and I always find when we start a podcast off with the weather, it's going to go right to shit. Just kidding.
Isn't it funny how humans by nature love talking about weather? That is a common thing that will come up in multiple times in your day.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe just because it influences a lot of how our day is dictated. If it's crappy weather out, say you had plans, they're probably now changed. Maybe that's it. Maybe humans just don't like change and they have to change all their plans for the
I
day.
also think that, not to be cheesy, everyone likes to endure something similar. So it doesn't matter your political allegiance, your age, you're all dealing with the rainy weather or the gorgeous weather. It's something that is a common feature amongst people.
Yeah.
It's food. Everyone has to eat, so it's the one thing you can talk to anybody about, whether we all have to go through that. And you see a major change in attitude if the weather's pleasant. I know I feel better. I'm not as bitchy. If it's nice out, if it's all hot and you got swamp ass and your balls are sticking to your legs, and you know what I mean? It's just it's not pleasant.
Yeah.
And I don't want to speak for Vicky, whatever the ladies have to go through.
Yeah, well, I'm glad my balls aren't sticking to my legs. That's all I can say.
You know, when you don't have to deal with something like that, it's nice. The weather, it's beautiful. And, you know, we got the birds chirping, and it's lovely, Dennys.
Yeah, so maybe I like the theory of why humans like talking about it. It's just such a, like you said, it's such a common thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing that influences our day. It's just
And it's interesting because different regions experience weather differently. Like in Florida, for the listeners that are from here or the listeners that travel here, we get a lot of weather, like a lot of dramatic weather. If you're in Southern California, you know, a lot of people spin that as a good thing,
You're
but
right.
there's no weather.
Vicky, you ever spend any time in California?
I love San Diego.
You've been there.
Yes.
And was that for a ghostly experience
No,
or
vacation.
Okay. 2-weeker?
No, I think we were there like 3 nights one time, and then one time I took my daughter and dropped her off in California, and I stayed just overnight.
It is really nice out there. I mean, that whole West Coast is beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, I just know that they have different views sometimes over there. I know some people are moving, but you hear that in the media. Oh, everyone's moving from the West Coast to the... Is that true, or is that just people saying that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is it? I don't know. I'm not there.
I know a lot of people move to Colorado, which has there's times of the year that are so nice. There's one guy's yard we used to go to. He built a stage in his backyard so bands would just play there, and he'd have giant house parties. But he would line all his fences and everything with paintings, and you could leave them out almost all year. It doesn't really ever rain in Colorado. It's crazy. So the outside stuff here, it gets destroyed. Things don't last that long in Florida. It's pretty wild. The weather here does destroy it.
I do. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
My
go
favorite
ahead.
thing about Colorado is that when you're driving on the road, there's not somebody on your behind the whole time.
They're very polite.
They're very chill. They do not ride your butt if you're going too slow. It was very pleasure.
It's true.
Even in Florida, I mean, from South Florida, there's some great people in South Florida. I know South Florida gets bagged on a lot. We got a lot of weird shit going on. A lot of cannibalism, a lot of fucking drugs. I get it. There's some weird shit going on in South Florida. But there's some great people here. But when I was up in northern Florida living up there, the Panhandle, and we're talking country, little towns, man, it is different. Yeah. People are so nice, and they really legit want to help you, and you can tell that it's just in their heart.
Right.
It bleeds out of them. That is the one thing that I'm not saying people down here don't have that, but when you go in those little towns like that, it's overwhelmingly in that direction.
Yeah, well, they say Florida is one of the few states, or the only state, where the north is the south and the south is the north.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost flip-flopped on how, like, the continental United States works. And I went to school in Tallahassee at Florida State, and I always said it's like South Georgia up there, like from the landscape to the southern hospitality to the people. It's totally different than the mentality and everything else in Southeast Florida. It's super interesting.
Yeah, I didn't realize how different it was until I went out there. And like you were saying, the drivers, you can have a polite off at a 4-way stop. People will not go. It's insane, especially if somebody's already started the waving process.
A polite off.
You cannot. Everybody's at a standstill trying to wave each other through. I came from Florida. I couldn't believe the driving there. It was so polite.
Oh, South Florida.
If you drive here,
Just today alone, I was running late for the dentist, and the traffic was. Every time you're running late, the traffic's always the worst. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am.
But it just, and I could tell I was not the only person running late, and people were just at me, people's throats. They wanted to kill each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Flicking each other off, Dennys.
I always used to say that you could tell by how people are compensated by how they drive. Like the people that are getting paid per hour, like they're not trying to rush it. But I'm
chilling.
100% commission. I'm like zooming, like I'm zooming from back to forth from one appointment to the next. It's definitely a different intention.
I do want to welcome everybody to the Weird Whatever podcast, the chat room. That's we got 20 strong right now. Give it up for the YouTube chat room, the weirdos. I do want to make an announcement. We lost a beloved legend, a local legend here. Someone that I knew. I worked with him. I didn't really get to work with him face to face, but just being in radio, you work gigs with people. Tim Bird, the Birdman. If you grew up in this area, you definitely have heard of him. He was a really nice guy, and he passed away at the age of 68. And I just want to say, rest in peace, old friend. You definitely left your mark in the entertainment business, and sending love and wishes out to his family as well. So I wanted to start off the podcast acknowledging the awesomeness of Tim Bird, the Birdman.
I saw a memorial for him posted on the local news Instagram feed today. So I was actually going to ask, and I was curious, like anything, like we talk about in baseball, there's a subculture. With you guys in radio, is there kind of like its own close-knit subculture amongst you guys?
There is, and I'm not so much in it as more as Kevin and Virginia. They're really from the old school radio world. I don't know too many people in radio other than the people that I've worked with, and you you have relationships. But yeah, there is just like competitive food eating.
Yeah.
Every little word, like Vicky will tell you, in the psychic world or in the ghost investigation world, there's cliques, there's factions, there's people talking shit. Am I?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, it happens in the horse world.
Of
It's
course.
crazy,
Everybody in the chat room, everyone listening, whatever world they're in, there is just this an odd culture that goes that only you would know about if you're in that world.
Yeah,
It's very fun.
well, that's why you can make TV series out of anything. Like The Office takes place in an office. I mean, Arrested Development takes place with a company that builds houses. It doesn't really matter what it is. There's always drama in every little clique.
And why does The Office work for so many people? Why does it have so many followers? Because everyone's worked in everyone's worked in that situation where a boss has been an ass.
It's so relatable. Even the other show that's like, I call it its sister show, but the Parks and Rec that takes place in the Parks and Rec department. It doesn't matter where you put it. There's just like, I would watch a show about the horse community just because it seems interesting to me because I'm not part of the community.
It's all in the writing.
Yeah.
It's all in the writing.
It's definitely all in the writing.
I did want to delve into something we talked about in the KBJ show today. The YouTube chat room had mentioned it earlier in the week. Karma. I have an interesting relationship with karma. But I think you have to look at it from two different perspectives. I do think on this plane on Earth, some people do terrible things and they go to the urn or they go to the grave and they got away with it. I think it's a human concept for us to, if I fuck Beckett over in a really terrible way, eventually in this lifetime, I'm going to get mine. And I don't know if it works that way. I think the karma question comes to after. Your afterlife. And I wanted to get your guys' perspective because I think sometimes people get it twisted. Karma, they want it here, they want it now, they want it on this plane as a human. But Vicky, I'd like you to take the floor a little bit on karma.
Well, I want to make a comment before that. Just so you know, I am going to write to the KVJ show because you guys moved your What's on My Mind segment, and I can no longer hear it in the car on my way to work. So I had to go on the computer this morning and go back on the stream in order to hear the What's on My Mind that I normally would listen to.
We do it 15 minutes
Now we know
earlier
what's
now.
on
Yes.
her mind.
Vicky,
Yeah, that's what's on mine.
I'd like to be the first to say we are sorry for the problems that we caused you, but we'd also like to thank you for the digital number you gave us.
But I was listening this morning when I went back on the computer and found it. And I agree with both what Virginia was saying and that just basically just worry about your own karma. And then what Kevin was saying is that even if you don't see the results of karma in this lifetime, you will see it on the other side in the next lifetime.
And I think that's a great perspective because none of us know what's on the other side. There's this, I wanted to ask you too, Vicky, there's this set of rules, I guess. A publication came out with it. It's like 10 rules you cannot break as a psychic. And the one rule was never trust a psychic that says they absolutely know.
Oh, absolutely.
You can't be.
No one's 100%.
And they even mention that with religion too, although religion is all based on this is the way it is, and you have to have faith on that. And I'm not over here trying to start a holy war, but I mean, to me, that's what it is. It's you getting a concept and then you having faith in that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You know that I say the disclaimer. It's like I don't pretend like I know everything. Take what I say with a grain of salt. That is part of every single reading that I do. And it's also a part when someone asks my paranormal opinion. I'll say, based on my experience or what I have read, this is what I think. Not that this is the gospel.
Yeah.
So.
Never trust anyone that says anything in absolutes is my experience.
Only a Sith lives in absolutes. Yeah, but what's your opinion? Do you any more to add on, Vicky, about karma?
No, just it's important. See, I think that the thing about karma, I think it's all about energy. So if you are doing right for people, that's kind of part of your karma and you're going to get positive back. And if you do negative to people, trust me, sometime it's going to come back to you because you can't just send all that negative into the universe and expect to go unscathed.
Someone also brought up a good point earlier today in the chat room that said you also don't know what every human's going through. So, from an outsider perspective, you think that person didn't get their coming uppins or up and comings. Yeah, you just don't know. They could be going to the urn with the worst. You don't know.
They could be eternalizing it into something.
Yeah, you don't have context, so you get cut off and be like, "Oh, karma's going to get that guy," but he could be rushing someone to the hospital. You never know the context per se on it.
Are you pretty much on the same philosophy as a Vicky?
Yeah, I'm definitely on the same philosophy. I know karma's a bitch. That's why that's the cliche for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And the other cliche is that only the good die young, and you have these beautiful souls, unfortunately you lose them, and then you have the biggest MRFer that lives to 110 drinking whiskeys and
flicking off the world.
You're flicking off the world. So, but again, to your guys' point, you don't really know what someone's going through, but yeah, I feel like that there's not always immediate karma, but kind of like we've talked about, we loosely believe in the secret, I think, is kind of the agreement. Not 110%, but we believe there's some validity to it. So I think if that you go around, especially if you have multiple instances, it's another thing if it's one-off, and you start to put those negative things out into the universe. I'm in sales, so like little things like that phone call I made, that thank you letter I sent, a lot of those things, I don't get a sale because of that next day. A year later, they're like, "Oh yeah, we got your Christmas card. We were getting ready to list our house. It reminded us about you." So you have little good things or little bad things, and I think it starts to add up to a lot, if that makes sense.
And you talk about the secret. I think it can go. I think your thoughts is the single most important thing. Because if you don't have your thoughts, you really can't get everything going from there. I mean, even when you have to have if you want a sandwich, you have to have some kind of thought.
Right.
Something's got to trigger that, and you got to kind of go through so you are your thoughts. And I think sometimes you can have a self-fulfilling prophecy by putting terrible thoughts and obsessing about something. So what you do put in can manifest from a certain point of view.
Yeah, totally.
Well, there's a lot of studies, too, that stress causes a lot of the ailments that we have. Just by stressing, it releases, it imbalances your hormone levels, and it causes issues for you. So.
Well, what would you say to you're a person that I think deals with stress in a very good, healthy manner? Other than the funny joke, oh, Denny smokes weed, because that's not the cure all. It's not. It's
For sure,
nice.
it takes the edge off.
It takes the edge off. But let's say something's really getting you down. If somebody was to ask you, hey, Denny's, I'm trying to not stress. I'm trying to let shit go, but I can't do that. What would you tell that person?
Yeah, well, so like everything, and it's never the answer anyone wants to hear, but you would hopefully be practicing a method before you get to that point. I know it's like,
What do you mean by that?
well, so you're at the point now where you're so stressed out. I need something now that will get rid of this stress. It's unfortunately, I think it's a practice of reducing your stress to try to never get to that point. I mean, once you get to the breaking point, I mean, you're now at the worst case scenario. You've now hit that point that you've been worrying about the whole time. And once it passes, I mean, you do feel bad. I mean, it tends to follow with what? Embarrassment or whatever the thing is leading up to. Whether you didn't do what you were supposed to do or whatever. Once it's passed, you only have one direction to go from there. You can start over now. You can either dwell, look back in anger.
Don't look back in anger.
Those are not productive things. You can utilize that time to do something progressive opposed to...
Would you say get into something you're into and follow that?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to say, don't think about that, kid. Get on with it. Let it go. But I think the question is always, that's great. I want to let it go. I want to.
But how?
Yeah, exactly. How does one do that? I know when it comes to ghost stuff sometimes, Vicky, your mental health can really bring in some dark entities. And if you're not, running check on your mental health, that's when shit can happen, no?
Right. And I don't even let team members, if they're going through something really tough in their life, they're not allowed to come on investigations until they're a little more stable and a better emotional state. Because I won't let them, because they could bring their own stuff into the investigation that might, start a little fight with whatever's in the house to begin with.
Or skew it.
Yeah.
If, an investigator has a fight with their lover and they come back, Vicky, I'm fine. I can do this shit. Jake is just being a dick. Oh, you sending that person home?
It depends on how much of a dick he actually is, So if he really is, I might send them home. But if not, they're going to do something like monitor duty. Okay. So they're not going to interact with EVP sessions and all that kind of stuff. They're going to sit on the monitor.
Can we do one more scenario?
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Vicky, I'm really pissed off. Taco Bell completely fucked up my order. I want a Nacho Bell Grande. It's bullshit. I'm cool, though. I can fucking do this ghost stuff.
Go back through Taco Bell drive-thru, get what you want, and come back.
I just got to cool off.
I'm just saying where the line is at. I love it. Good stuff. Anyone else have any more karma shit to add? All right, nice. Let's go on to the next topic here. We're going to do a new segment called Ask Vicky.
All right.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot, Vicky. We got 3 questions here that I plucked out. We had some really good questions from the audience. Give it up for our very creative audience. But these are legit questions they want to know, and we're going to see what you think, what you have to say. You are the ghost expert. Is it possible that ghosts and aliens are working together? Could there be an alien ghost?
There are some people that believe that aliens are actually just some type of spirit rather than, extraterrestrial from another planet, that they're actually spirits. Some people even think that it's us in the future coming back to interact. So as far as what they're asking, a dead alien spirit, my personal belief is no. Because I do think that there's certain encounters that people have documented that would be what we classify as aliens, okay? But they don't have the same kind of properties in order to come back as a ghost, as a spirit, because they don't have a soul, they claim, the people who have had experiences with aliens. So a lot of people believe in order to be a ghost, by definition, a ghost, a human spirit coming back in that form, you would have to have a soul and you would have to have some kind of contract with the other side to do that.
I love it. I like to challenge it, though. Well, only because I feel as if we are possible, and aliens are possible, and we don't know what aliens are. We have no idea. It could be people that look like us. It could be plasma. We just don't know. If we're possible and we have a spirit or a soul, why is it so impossible to think other creatures out there that also was created under our creator?
They could, but if you're using the same rules as a human spirit, typically human spirits haunt where they spent the majority of their time, and I would assume that most aliens have spent time in outer space or on their own planet. Therefore, if they passed away, they would haunt that area more likely than they would Earth.
That I can totally get on board with that, because you're right. They wouldn't be coming down. So you're not ruling it out.
I'm not ruling it out.
I love it. Okay.
I would just say it would be a smaller possibility.
Great question, great answer, Vicky. I already love this segment. Ask Vicky. We got to come up with a Dennys random facts jingle. Ask Vicky and Beckett. We
need to come up with something.
No.
I think Virginia just wanted you to take your shirt off.
They
Did
did.
you say that this morning?
I was promoting. I go, well, Beckett's gonna be doing the podcast shirtless. Oh yeah. Oh, I'm gonna be watching tonight. Mama's gonna like. Wah, wah, wah.
That's hilarious.
Virginia. Okay, another question for Ask Vicky. Can a ghost have a uterus? I think kind of with the same question. You kind of.
I would assume they would be intact. So if they had one in life, they would have one in death.
And it's pretty much the third question. I'm gonna kind of tie it into that second question. Could a uterus, just a uterus, be haunted? Because the next question is this, Vicky. Can a body part, just the body part, become haunted? If you, for example, and I'm just throwing this example, we cut Beckett's dick off and then a ghost attacks the dick. Could that technically be haunted?
Technically, yes. But
okay, we're getting answers, Dennys.
I'll tell you what, it wouldn't be
why?
good. I wouldn't be good at hiding.
I just look. These are not my questions, Vicky.
But no, I do want to give a shout out because I do go and I look at the live chat later on from the show, and I want to give a shout out to all the people that do interact in the chat room, and whatever name Dan was going by last week when we had talked about we were talking about spirits or something, and
from the chat, Dan.
Yeah.
It was Kittenbeard. Yeah,
okay, that's what he was
by Kittenbeard
last week. And so he's like, well, how can something about when we were talking about like children's spirits or whatever, and then he's like, well, how could that happen if blah blah blah, and somebody was like, she's talking about earthbound spirits. So they corrected him and educated him in the chat. So I thought that was funny.
Vicky, you
I love him though.
Metal Beard Dan is. We love Metal Beard.
I love him. I love watching his comments.
He's the ultimate. He likes to stir it up.
to troll.
He's awesome.
Have you guys ever met him in
yes,
person?
we have.
Okay.
A few times. I probably met Dan 3 or 4 times by now.
Twice.
Does he have a serious beard?
He does. He's got a great beard. Yeah. No, he's been around for a minute. We love all of our chat room people, even the ones that say we suck. Dennys, anything to add on to Ghost Uterus?
That would be cool to have a haunted uterus, right? I could see that spinning off into a sitcom.
Well, I think with that awesome, witty response, it might be time for some
Dennys
Random Facts.
Oh, sweet Dennys. He gives us a series of factoids. Vicky is our educator. She grades every one of these factoids. If it's good, she gives him an A. If it sucks, she's been known to give him, I think, 1 F and a lot of D's.
Yes.
Dennys, the floor is yours.
So let's see. Did you guys know it snows metal on Venus? The reason being is that, like Earth, we have our weather cycle with precipitation and it rains. Unfortunately, water can't exist on Venus, so the same concept is applied to metals. Metals actually evaporate, create clouds, and then rain back down as metal. The 2 types of metals that rain are galena and bismuthinite. So
All right. I actually kind of like that one. He's coming out strong
started
this
strong
week.
with the
Look at
Venus
that.
facts.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Well, science guy, I like it.
We like it. So, Vicky, what
That's
what
an A.
Whoa!
Oh, look at that! It's been a while.
Yeah.
Hot damn, Denny.
Now sweat it for the rest of them.
Yeah,
He started
now I'm
off
like,
strong.
geez.
I think he started off strong last week too. He did out of the gate.
And then the
Yeah.
decline began.
We don't talk
Let's
about that.
see.
We ain't talk about that, baby.
No, I don't look back. Let's see here. I pulled this one because I figured you guys would get a laugh. The loudness of a monkey is relative to the size of its testicles. Researchers found that the smaller the testicles, the louder the monkey. They think that it is a compensation thing to make themselves appear larger by screaming louder. Or,
That silence it haunts you, doesn't it?
that silence. So it rains metal in Venus.
Vicky, I mean,
Random.
I don't know what to say. Vicky.
Monkey testicles.
Well, I'm stuck between a B and a C. It's
Give-
not uninteresting, but
Okay, she's giving you a C.
That's
Yeah.
fine. I'll land on the C. I'll split the diff. What do you guys think of this? I actually like this concept. You can get headstones with etched QR codes, and what they're doing is they're calling them living headstones. So when you hold your phone over it in the future, they predict glasses. It'll show all the photos, videos, and biographies of that loved one, and you can leave comments at their headstone. So when you visit graveyards, you can read all the comments left on them. Kind of a cool concept for the futuristic
Really cool concept.
adventures we're going on.
I want a QR code.
Okay, Vicky, what do you think?
it's interesting. I don't think I'd want to go and just go from headstone to headstone looking at their lives, but okay.
I was
I'll do,
wondering-
I'll
She
do a
don't like
B
it,
on that
dude.
one.
I
I'll
was
do a B.
wondering if that would become a thing. You go to a graveyard and you read everybody's comments on headstones.
Yeah, I think
Like a new internet thing that would happen.
I
from
think
it.
I think you're right. I think we're going towards all of that shit. I think you're going to start seeing funerals and weddings and all that stuff's going to be more people virtual and
So the push is augmented reality. I don't know if you guys seen all the stuff where you could go to a place and you hold your phone up, and then through your phone you can see what it actually looks like. It has all this messaging and colorful stuff. I wonder if that's gonna be the future. People wear glasses.
we were talking a little
And you
bit
just-
about it on the morning show, just about how, some people are going to be going into that 3D world. Now, I know not everyone loves
sure.
it right now. I just think it's going to get better, and it's going to only get stronger and more to where
VR,
not
yeah.
everyone's going to fall into that trap. But there's a type of person that will never want to leave the VR world. If they have a woman or a mate or a lover or whatever you're into, and they hey Dennys, hey Beckett, how are you, Mr. Radcock? Oh, hey baby, and it's everything you want of all your desires, and people treat you kind and nice.
Yeah.
You have a great haircut. You have no pimples. You're in your best
Yeah.
outfit. all
Yeah.
the
Your
time.
avatar.
I'm not saying everyone's gonna fall in that trap. Some people are.
Oh, definitely. But the augmented reality would be you walk around and then you see an advertisement. Your glasses would then bring a message to you that you could confirm and say, yeah, I want to buy that. And they ship it right to your house.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be that.
It's going to be craziness.
All the technology stuff we thought was never gonna happen. Watching those space movies as a kid, what are they doing over there with that little box and talking? Oh my gosh, they're talking to people from
It's funny.
across the globe.
Yeah, the iWatch is way better than they ever predicted in Star Trek.
I
No,
hate
it's way better.
I hate the iWatch. Ever have a fucking lunch with someone with an iWatch, try to talk to them?
Dude, it's not
The whole time, I think there's a bee on them. It's real relaxing. Really, I love connecting with
you can
someone
hear
with
it buzz.
a fucking
so-
iWatch.
And
Oh.
it lights up too.
Well, so when it buzzes and lights up, watch the person that has it on. They'll dart their eyes immediately and go back to what they were looking at, and
But-
you know all they're thinking about is checking that message.
I hate it. It reminded me of an old therapist I used to have. They used to fucking play ping pong with the clock with their eyeball. Is it time to get crazy pants out of
No,
here?
that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. All right, keep telling me about your bullshit now, Jason. Clock. I fucking hate the iWatch. I'm done.
Everybody says that, and then they get it and they say it's the greatest thing
Oh, of
ever.
course they do.
And you can turn that off. You can turn all that stuff off if you
sure.
want. Because I agree. The first time I had an iWatch, I was like, why do I want it buzzing on my wrist and my pocket? It's so annoying.
Oh, I hated it. All right, Denny, sorry.
No, I'm just giggling. Let's see here. What do you guys think? The Japanese term for a shotgun wedding is dekichara kakan, which literally translates to "Oops, we did it" marriage. That's what they call their shotgun wedding.
Got Vicky in stitches.
Yeah, I like that one. A.
Funny enough, too, in the Japanese tip, currently Japan is facing a ninja shortage. This is a big thing where they actually put out that they'll pay up to $85,000.
I picked the right time to get into karate then.
Yeah, you did. There's a high demand because traditionally they put on ninja shows as a tourism act, but the younger generation, this is a popular thing, the younger generation kind of thinks that it's a lame, gimmicky thing, so they're not participating in ninjas anymore.
Damn, the youngsters are canceling ninjas?
The young Japanese are canceling ninjas.
Oh, Beckett just gave I am an adult. How dare these kids
That's
try to you had get off my lawn kind of a reaction to that.
I mean, now I'm thinking about moving to Japan and getting paid $85,000 to train like Batman for.
They are
You know?
starting at $35,000. You can start training, but you have to devote your life to it and live in the village.
I'm
and
okay
the whole
with that.
thing.
Are they cool with guys in their mid-40s with a gut? Don't have much athletic ability.
But yeah, high demand right now. That article too is from 2020, so I think
who
they
knows?
still have a ninja. I bet it's even worse than it was.
Pandemic? It's before Corona.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I bet you there's no ninjas.
Ninjas are done, man.
They're not as big as they were.
Damn, that's sad.
Isn't that sad? Traditionally, the younger generation finds it a gimmicky historical thing.
We're bringing that up on the KVJ show. That's what's on my mind. I'm gonna go, Kevin, did you know these fucking ninjas are gone? I can't say fuck, but
They're canceling ninjas.
the youngsters are canceling. I'm like Beckett. I'm pissed off right now at the youth.
It's ridiculous.
Kid me. We love Teenage Mutant. I can't even talk, Dennys.
Well, the 80s definitely perpetuated the ninja culture over here in the Americas.
If you were a kid in the 80s,
Everything
was ninjas.
Everything became a ninja somehow.
If you were eating waffles, they were waffle ninjas.
They did it all.
I think I went as a ninja one Halloween.
Of course you did.
Jesus.
Yes,
You were
of
bred
course.
to,
Yes,
yeah.
shit, yeah,
You
you
had
did.
no choice.
We all did, Beckett.
Yeah, it was cool.
All right, Danny, give us one more.
All right. Webster's dictionary accidentally had a word that didn't exist in it for 5 years. The word was doored. It was supposed to be an abbreviation of capital D or lowercase d, but when the people were putting it in the book, they thought it was one word and they squished it together, removing the spaces, creating the word doored. It was between the word dorcopsis, which is a small kangaroo, and the word doré, which is golden in color. It was on page 777.
And how was the mistake discovered?
The way they found it was one of the guys noticed it had no etymology to it, so they looked into it and they realized that it was just a typo, and it had the definition. It had no definition either, but yeah, doored. It was just a word.
So, Vicky, you seem a little kind of like he kind of wore out his welcome. Maybe should have maybe done one less this week.
Yeah, I think he should have walked away a winner.
With doored?
No.
The door doesn't impress anyone here?
No.
All right.
Even Beckett.
No impress.
I'm confused as to what the actual legitimate meaning was. Big D
so-
or little d?
So what it was abbreviation was, it was saying this word could be either abbreviated as a capital D or a lowercase d. But when you looked at it, it looked like the word doored. It was just a capital D or lowercase d.
I'm not gonna lie, Denny's. My head's still with that ninja story.
I hear you, man. There's no more ninjas, guaranteed. We're
Gosh,
in 2022. There's no way there's ninjas anymore.
I'm sorry, y'all. I have to write this down or I'll forget. Ninja talk on the KVJ show tomorrow. Sorry, guys. You're gonna have to hear this bullshit again.
Tom Cruise's next movie is The Last Ninja.
Yeah. There's a lot.
So this is how this is gonna go tomorrow. I'm gonna go, guys. Can you believe these ninjas? Kevin's gonna be typing something. Oh man,
that's so
it's
interesting.
terrible. Wow, the ninjas, and then ninjas are stupid. Quack quack.
Nobody
ninjas,
cares about
come on,
ninjas.
ninjas. You're dumb.
You'll try to bring it up, and Kevin will brush past
He's
it.
like, all right, Virginia, what's on your mind?
Guess I'll be glad I'll be missing that in the morning.
Yeah. No longer in the drive.
Yeah, you're right. I will let Kevin know you are not happy with the changes.
I'm not. I know he'll be shaking in his shoes.
Believe me, Vicky, no one ever likes changes of any sort.
They don't.
As soon as something changes, it's poor sweet Dennys has got to.
Oh, jeez. People call in.
Dennys gets some. It's so funny. Dennys gets the craziest phone calls I think a human other than 911 can get. that we can't air. They obviously you can't put.
Definitely not.
If someone's screaming and they're swearing fuck every other word, and Denny's like, "Oh, you can't swear," and they're still doing it.
Well, it's funny because I'll get yelled at for point A, and then the very next call will be defending point B.
Yes.
But just as angry. So it's like if you were just gauging it by crowd reaction and volume, you couldn't pick a winner. It'd be a photo finish.
It's very bizarre when you're getting yelled at about your opinion, but you're getting yelled at on both sides of the argument.
Yeah,
You're like, what? I'm not on both sides.
I'm just like a mediator, just hearing it. I feel like some people just call in to yell, and then they definitely don't want to go on the radio. So it's just so they could yell at you and hang out.
It's pretty good, but I wish you were legally allowed to record those and then release those out. It would be the most entertaining thing you guys could ever hear on the planet.
Let it be known if they get crazy, I always put it on speakerphone, so
Yes.
everybody in the room's listening.
When I hear people scream, Jason's the biggest dick. He knows nothing about children.
I'll see you guys go to the kitchen. I'm like, here, come in here
Yeah,
real
I'm
quick.
like, that's great.
That's awesome.
It is pretty fun. You gotta come in, Beckett. Vicky, you too.
I'm in.
You gotta get behind the scenes.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Denny's, great job with Denny's Random Facts. I thought that was great.
Rain's metal.
Do you guys know the Doomsday Clock, what all that's about? I know we're talking a little bit about it, Beckett. What do you know about this Doomsday Clock? Because it's making news right now.
My understanding of it, it was meant, a lot of times humans need like an alliteration of something to like let something sink in and like understand the gravity of a situation. So my understanding of the Doomsday Clock is 12 o'clock is doomsday. Like that's the end of the world, whether it's nuclear holocaust because Russia and the United States started throwing nukes into whatever. So whatever kind of algorithm they have, they factor in all kinds of things in terms of what's going on in geopolitics and war and, atomic weapons and like that. So it's moved in its history. It's gone, probably down to like, 12:45, and I think right now, we were talking before the podcast, it's a couple minutes from midnight.
So I want to play a couple clips here. I think you did a great job. It's really a syllabus, from what I understand, of all kind of factors that can be lights out for us as Earthlings.
Yep.
Whether it's they even talked about political climate at times because that can affect if countries are going to go to war with one another, environment, all of that stuff. Now, from what I understand, too, there's also a bit of a debate that some people think it might be politically biased, obviously, because you're talking about the environment and all that bullshit. But let's play the clip, Sweet Dennys. Let's go ahead and play clip.
Is it explained?
Yeah, let's go ahead and have this cat explain it, too.
All right, right here is explained.
This is the Doomsday Clock. It was designed back in 1947 by artist Martel Langsdorff, and the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists sets the clock to show how much time we have left until midnight. Midnight in this case meaning nuclear Armageddon and the end of humanity. In January 2017, the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists revealed that the clock ticked 30 seconds closer than last year to the end of times, and cited, among other things, climate change, cybersecurity, nuclear weapons as causes.
Ooh, fun stuff.
Yeah, there was a long clip. They even talked about elections at times. Again, for any country, just if it's creating a political, unrest in that that country. So here's where supposedly we're at right now. Now I don't know how accurate this stuff is. This is what supposedly the scientists are saying.
Yeah.
The members of the Science and Security Board find the world to be no safer than it was last year at this time, and therefore we have decided to set the Doomsday Clock once again at 100 seconds to midnight. The Doomsday Clock continues to hover dangerously, reminding us how much work is needed to ensure a safer and healthier planet.
So 100 seconds to midnight, just a little bit over an hour or a minute there.
Yeah. Okay, so here's my question. I'm not trying to freak the audience out by playing that stuff. I bring that up. Is this one of those things where you're at the dentist and they're like, you better floss. If not, you're going to lose all your teeth, to scare people into getting your act together for an environmental type of thing? Or is this legit? Are we looking down the barrel of Armageddon?
Yeah, I think that what they're trying to elucidate to the population is that as we tick closer, it just takes a couple bad negotiations between Putin and Biden, and one of these situations where now they're invading. Like, you can see you're on the precipice. What I think about is like, imagine you're driving in your car. You're at 10 and 2. You're driving at a safe speed. You're looking all around. You got your mirrors adjusted. That would be, very safe on the atomic clock. If it's raining, you're speeding, you're texting and driving, then imagine if your car said, hey, we're not saying you're going to get in an accident, but the likelihood of something bad happening is a lot greater because of all of these factors. And I
Watch
think
yourself, bub.
yeah, I think that's the best way to factor it, is they're giving kind of a concrete example based on factors, like an algorithm would do something on where we are in terms of danger.
Conditions are ripe
Yes.
if something was to go wrong. Vicky, you hear a clip like that. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with the Beckett?
I have no thoughts. I mean, I tell the doctor every year when I have my yearly physical and he wants to tell me the results, I say I want my death to be a nice surprise. So I would want Doomsday to be a nice surprise. I don't have enough energy. I have to pay my mortgage. I have to worry about my daughters going to college and stuff like that. I need to worry about things that I know are an actual reality right now. And if the world's coming to an end, I guess I just won't make another mortgage payment.
So
Yeah, you're like, screw the next
So
7.
when you hear that, though, do you think that's a reality, or do you think it's just scare propaganda?
I don't give any energy to it, period. Like, I have other things to worry about. And no offense to people who are into all of this and conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff. That's just not me. I got enough to worry about.
Dennys?
It might just be awareness propaganda, like
Yeah.
Beckett's kind of saying. I hear you. I mean, it's like the death clock. You ever go to the website and type in your birthday and your name, and it tells you when you're going to die?
Yeah, I mean, but how accurate
I mean,
can that really
that's
be?
clearly not accurate. But if that was a real thing, would you ever go to that?
Would not. I'm with Vicky. I don't want to know when.
Me either.
I just if I was supposed to die in 2 weeks, I don't want to know. Just let me die.
I would 100% want to know.
Oh my god.
I would live my life totally differently.
See,
for
to
2
me,
weeks.
but
for 14 days.
Well, imagine if you had a mortgage payment due today and you knew the world was going to end, then you would not worry about that anymore. You would hug your family, you might visit, you might do some risky things.
my whole thing is, though, I want to do that now, and that's always my reminder to go. If I sometimes do that, I'll practice dying while I'm alive. I think about death quite a bit, and ever since I was a kid, I was like that. I want to say it all now, make sure it's not that I do, like you're saying, everything I want to do like I am dying, but it's definitely a reminder to go, you don't have much time on this planet. It is the one message I got when my mom passed away. Was I was looking at her going, I can't believe her life is over right now. Mm-hmm. Don't let that be you. It's just it's not. It may sound morbid, but it's really not. It's I think a healthy reminder to live
Like a new lease.
I mean, I love what you're saying, but I think everyone should have that. Do it now.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. The only thing that I would add to it is that I think that you should do that, and I think that's really healthy. But I think that if you know certain things, like end of the world or the end of your life is in 2 weeks, you can make a concerted effort to tell your father something that day, rather than say, "Oh, I'm going to see him in 3 weeks."
Yeah, for sure.
Or
sure,
if there's something that was planned this summer because you're going to finally do that thing you wanted to do, you're like, get on a plane tomorrow. I'm bringing cash. You know what I mean?
I guess what I'm more saying is if you're talking about matters of the heart type of thing, maybe you're listening to this going, I haven't talked to this one person because A, B, and C, but I'm going to talk to them eventually.
Right.
I don't think you should wait.
Definitely not.
And I also think there's if you're legit upset about something, you got to get past the emotion. But the situations I'm talking about where the emotions are subsided and you still haven't talked to that person, but it still bothers you.
Yeah, 100%.
Whether it's a family member, whether it's whatever the case is, my suggestion is to take care of it now.
Right.
But everyone's different.
Yeah, but there might be something like weeding my yard for 2 days that I had to do. But if I knew the end of the world was coming, I'm not going to spend time weeding that yard. I'm not going to do that stupid rental I had for work.
I'd rather just weed the yard, thinking everything's normal, and then say, "Oh shit, it's an asteroid."
It's a tough school of thought because it's almost more selfish to want to just not know, but at the same time,
I'd let it rip.
You think it's more selfish to not want to know?
I'm only thinking that now because I mean your ignorance is bliss. You're just blissfully going through, and I mean, to Beckett's point, you don't get those goodbyes. I mean,
I hear you.
it's a tough call because it's better for you because you go to the end.
Well, then you also don't want to be that weird person that's always, hey, Beck, it's great to see you. You know, I love you, right, man? You know, I'm always going to be there for you. You don't want to be the overly.
For at least 2 weeks.
We're never going to see each other again. You're like, damn, man, Bird's coming out a little intense.
Something's clearly.
I think it would be way better if everyone else knew there was 2 weeks. Well, actually, let me think about that because then people might act.
This topic's fucking everyone's head up.
People might act like I would do fun stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But you know, I think you kind of have that. What's that movie where they have 20? Oh, The Purge. Then I think you also end up because there's some crazy people out there. Like you end up in The Purge because people are like, oh, I'm gonna like act on this murderous, urge I've had that I can't go to jail for life. Like the world's ending in 2 weeks.
No, I hear you. I just know the one thing we get a lot of emails on is about a lot of mental health stuff, a lot of depression stuff, a lot of anxiety. I think every human deals with all that stuff. I think if you are dealing with all that kind of stuff, I think everyone just needs to look forward to one little thing a day, no matter how small if it's a Snickers bar, if it's a bowl of weed teas, if it's a ghost reading, whatever it is, I think that can put you in a more of a peaceful state, and maybe you will want to do other things that you want to do. Because you're right, the worst thing on the planet is to be on your deathbed and to go, oh my gosh, I never did what I wanted to do. I died with my music still living inside me.
So I do think about that a lot to your earlier point in terms of like living in the now and making sure that things don't get left unsaid. And, they've studied people that are dying in like ICU and, they've, spoken to them and whatever and things that are corollary that happens in terms of answers a lot. And that is that more people regret not doing things when they're on their deathbed than things that they did do.
Well, of course, yeah. Yeah, everyone has something they want to do that they haven't done.
Yeah.
Vicky, what's yours?
I have an obsession with Henry VIII.
Yeah, you do.
So I want to go to England and I want to visit the palaces. I want to go to his final resting place.
That's right. I forgot. You are a dork like me. Yeah. I love it. It's great. I love when people are into weird shit. That's weird shit. I love it.
That's cool.
Becky, what's something you haven't done that if you were to die tomorrow or tonight, go, fuck, I never got that done?
Kids.
Okay, damn. Ooh.
Yeah.
That's heavy. We don't have to go down that road. We'll keep it. So Henry VIII.
Yeah. It's funny when Henry VIII is the lighter portion.
Sweet Dennys.
Probably go to Japan. I've always wanted to kind of check that place out. My family went out there and said it was awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's
good.
so far. I feel like the plane flight is so long. It's a big deterrent in my opinion.
Oh, it's worth it. Just sleep, have some wine.
You're just sitting on a plane so long.
Take a gummy.
Yeah, but they have these cute little like cubicle cocoon things. So it wouldn't be bad at all.
How long of a flight is that?
I don't know how long. I'll look it up. How long is it? I heard it's really long. Like you have to go to bed and you get breakfast and lunch and dinner.
It's like 20 hours,
yeah,
18
I think
hours.
it's something like that.
Remember where Chris Tucker got with Jackie Chan on the plane and they're all excited. They're in first class and Chris Tucker's like, how long is the flight? He goes, 20 hours. He goes, and Chris Tucker's like, what?
Yeah.
Is it 20? I bet it is,
Damn,
man.
it's 18 hours from Miami.
I mean, that is a long flight. Is a straight ass
Same
flight?
from
18?
Orlando,
Man,
too.
that's rough.
But those flights are legendary. Like you get like full service. You got a hot washcloth on your face. You get drinks. You take a nap.
I mean,
It's great.
shit, Becky, when you sat with a hot washcloth, it's totally worth it.
So if you get a direct flight, it can be 14 and a half hours.
There ain't
no way.
there ain't nothing direct about.
So you probably fly to what? California, right? Then isn't that how they do it? They fly to California and then they fly to Japan from there?
I can't even find clematis. I don't know why you're looking at me.
All right, yes. It's a long-ass flight.
We have another email I'd like to get to. Dear Weird and Whatever. Why is my baby growling? It only happens late at night during full moons. Damn, Dennys. I know you might think I'm crazy, but it's really happening to me. Dennys is the one laughing. Doctors can't find anything wrong with my baby 6 months old. This is not a normal cry. It's a growl, and the growl sounds satanic. I'm not saying it's satanic. I'm just saying it sounds that way. Has anybody ever experienced this before? Linda and baby Anthony. Growling, Vicky. We got Dennys laughing.
Well, I mean, on full moon.
We got full moons. Is it werewolf? Is it demons?
I thought maybe you wanted snacks.
Is she pulling our weird legs? She seems like she's legit.
I've never heard of it in all these years, but the full moon definitely affects people. So maybe it affects a 6-month-old in that way. Because he can't jump up and run around and act hyper. Like teachers know when there's a full moon because of the behavior of their kids. So he's only 6 months old. He can't do a lot of things that we see the kids do in the classroom. So that may be his version of full moon.
Okay,
crazy.
so what about the whole satanic growl? Do you think it could just be a deep baby cry? Or, I mean, imagine you having a baby and it's...
It could be the only way that he can express the changes that he's feeling during the full moon. Like I said, kids go nuts in the classroom. We can tell when there's a full moon.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's been studies. I don't know why I always bring up Detroit, but it seems that murders skyrocket on full moons in Detroit, Vicky. Someone fact check that, please.
Oh, yeah. That's why they call them lunatics. They derive from lunatics.
Look at Danny doing a random
Who's
fact.
who's
late.
Danny?
I had one beer.
Yeah. He said it twice.
Danny's random facts. All right, so we have nothing to offer this poor woman who's going through growling babies. Okay, cool. All right,
I wouldn't be too concerned about it. If they've checked out the child and make sure there was nothing medically wrong with them, I would just say that's the only way. They might be super sensitive to the moon cycle, and that's the only way they can express what's going on with them.
Okay.
I had crouping cough when I was a kid. It was like croup cough. I don't know if they even have that anymore, do they?
Yes.
Oh, they do?
Kids love the croup.
I thought maybe it got
Look,
cured.
I just found out. I just found out chickenpox ain't fucking. Chickenpox been canceled.
But it sounded like I was growling. I used to have to, my dad would turn on the shower and I'd have to sit in the bathroom and let it get real foggy.
Yeah.
Did you know chickenpox is gone? Pretty much. I mean, it's still out there, barely though.
I
It's-
never
Because
got
of the
it.
vaccine.
They vaccinate for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that too. Fuck.
But then it comes out when we're older because we all had
Shingles.
it, right? Now
I
it comes
never
out
had
as,
it.
Ah.
But
I
I got the vaccine when
I
I,
had it
was
when
like a teen.
I had it when I was 16. It was awful.
It's
At-
horrible.
At,
Gosh.
16, it was all over me.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was terrible.
You feel like a leper. It's horrible.
Yeah, and you feel like shit. I felt terrible. To get back to that shingles thing, I think I was walking in a, I don't know, is Rite Aid still around?
Mhm.
It is?
I think so.
I was walking in one of those things, CVS, Rite Aid, and they had a sticker on there, and it was not a very fun stat. It was, if you're a baby boomer from the age of this year born, 1 out of 3 of you motherfuckers are going to have shingles. They even said motherfuckers on the sign.
Everyone is getting them now. I feel like I never heard of shingles, and all of a sudden everyone's getting shingles now.
Well, they're getting it younger, which I think, my personal opinion, that's the side effect from the chickenpox vaccine.
Oh,
We're
son.
seeing teenagers getting shingles.
Damn.
And that's something shingles was an older person condition.
Oh, definitely.
And now it's younger and younger. And I personally think it's a byproduct of the chickenpox vaccine. And by the way, teachers do not like the chickenpox vaccine because we used to love when a kid got chickenpox because then they would infect all the people they sit next to and they'd have to be out of school for like 2 weeks. We love chickenpox.
That reminds me. I wanted to do, I don't know if you're I don't know if you're going to go for it. I don't know if your principal's going to go for it, but I would love to do all the behind the scenes shit that teachers don't want to talk about on a podcast.
Ooh, I have the principal for you. She's not my current principal, but she's my former assistant principal.
Oh, I got so many. I can't tell you how annoyed I was with parents when I played or when I coached baseball. There's great parents and great kids, and then there's a percentage of what the fuck is going on here kind of parents. And it's like anything. One insect can ruin grain, can damage so much grain. It just takes a few assholes to kind of ruin the vibe. If you're having a party of 50 people and 2 dudes show up pissing on all the food, guess what? Party's not as cool as it was.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're into piss parties.
Well, parents are getting braver and braver. In fact, I just thought about this story. I think it was today. Several years ago with my former principal, we were out at parent pickup and this woman needed to move her car up because we had a long parent pickup line. She needed to move up. Well, the principal goes out to ask her, and she tries to run our principal over. And I wasn't like a huge fan of this woman, but when you're not going to run my boss over, like, I don't care how I feel about you, you are not. So I ran over too. I guess they were going to run over me. But yeah, she actually aimed and floored it trying to hit our principal.
Damn.
It's a crazy world out there, Denny.
They're getting so angry and.
Oh yeah,
What's perpetuating?
They need to bring
it all?
safety patrol back.
Oh, I was a safety.
We
patrol.
I
have
was
safety
safety patrol.
patrols.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's modern day safety patrol. It's
Kids are probably too cool for safety patrol.
Yeah, I did
There's
the
like-
whole DC trip and everything.
I wasn't allowed to go. I was
no.
so excited to go.
Oh, it was a blast.
And my dad said I could go, and my mom's like, "Nope, you're not going." And I didn't. But that's how I met Bigfoot, because I wasn't allowed to go because my mom said I couldn't go, and Bigfoot had to stay back for discipline reasons. So they put me with all the kids that were, not behaving well. And I was a very well behaved kid. I was a goody two shoes, especially when I was really, really young. So I'm in there with all the fucking tough kids. I'm like, oh shit. But that was my first moment with my kidney brother. We always laugh about that.
That's awesome.
funny.
Sad fact, we haven't done the Washington trip since COVID.
Oh,
Damn.
And so they're substituting this year. Our school is substituting. I think it's a trip to Universal. But I was a 5th grader who went on the trip, and I have chaperoned numerous Washington, D.C. trips. And it's a once in a lifetime thing to be able to go to Washington with your friends, especially on the train. A lot of kids, the biggest thing was the train trip.
Yeah.
We did the
And-
Amtrak on the way up.
Yep,
yeah.
Yeah, it sounds fucking great,
Yeah,
guys.
I can't.
Thanks.
We
I
did
can't wait for it
forts.
to
It was
come back.
life changing.
Thanks, guys. Keep
That really changed the trajectory of my life.
It's it.
I feel like people who didn't go on that trip went a different path.
they really are emotionally stunted if they did not go on that trip as a kid.
I heard they're single longer in their life.
Oh, the happier. Okay, I'm glad I didn't go. I'm glad I missed that fucking train. Well, we're having a good time, but I love that. We got a couple more things I'd like to talk about. Maybe one quick round of a would you rather. Quick. Would you rather be stuck in jail with a hungry Jeffrey Dahmer? Obviously, this is when he was alive. So you're stuck. It's not a bunk bed, Denny's. It's one bed.
Oh, all right.
Or is that my computer? I keep hearing an
All
echo.
right, I think it's my headphones. I gotta.
A hungry Jeffrey Dahmer or 3 starving crocodiles in a jail cell. What do you share them with? You're in there for 6 months.
Oh my god.
Hard time, baby.
Hungry Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm
Really?
just gonna tell him about like skulls and stuff. I'll just vibe with him. I'm just gonna be into the same stuff.
Oh, he's gonna vibe with you too.
Well,
he's
I
gonna,
don't think he's gonna.
he's
eat
gonna
me.
like your ass.
No way.
Literally.
No, he's not.
Oh yes,
I
he
think
is.
I think we'll gel.
Oh, and you, Beckett? Oh, you are fresh fish, baby.
I'm gonna bring him a skull first day. I bring him a skull and I get on his good side.
That's not.
That's what I'm gonna
That's
do.
not how it works, dog.
I'm gonna in jail. I could absolutely get a skull.
What do you go with, Beckett? Hungry, starving crocodiles is it's tough. But Dahmer, he's gonna. I mean, try sleeping with Dahmer in the room. Just say that out loud. Yeah, I have to sleep next to Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, I almost feel like you can trust the crocodiles more. I think we're going crocodiles.
Wow. So one
They're
for Dahmer.
starving though.
Humans are evil things. Where crocodiles, like I feel like feed them, you bring them back your lunch, like you keep them. You
That's
train
how
them
this
a little
works,
bit.
though. They gave you one bologna sandwich. It's not sufficient for 3.
Fruit cocktail's not gonna cover it.
It's not. I'll tell you what will cover it though. Beckett cock.
It usually does.
All right. This is a filthy podcast.
Pitch that up.
This is the part. Well, there's been so much swearing, and then me and Denny's go, oh, by the way, it's for adults 18 and older.
18 and older, please.
45 minutes into the podcast, there's our warning. Vicky, what do you got?
I think I'm pretty safe with Jeffrey.
You are safe with
I'm
Dahmer.
safe as kittens with him, so
You
I'm good.
are.
I'm going Jeffrey.
Very good, yeah.
Wasn't he kind of skinny? I'm trying to remember his build.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
He was on a
thin.
starting on a
I
diet.
feel like I
yeah.
overpower him. Time with the bed
Night
sheets.
after night after night after night.
I mean, that does, you bring up a good case because Jeffrey Dahmer got his victims because he drugged them.
Right.
How's he going to drug you in prison?
Right.
If you're stronger than Dahmer, I don't think Dahmer does mess with you. Good point, Beckett.
Unless he's making that hooch.
He's making that hooch.
Yeah.
He's definitely is.
Would you rather have no genitals or no mouth?
So you keep.
You can eat.
you know-
There's a small hole right underneath your earlobe where you just put a little.
So I can't procreate, but I can still do the thing.
So you're like a Ken doll, right?
You're a Ken doll.
Oh, you're a Ken doll, no mouth.
No, you just have just balls.
That's even worse.
It's would you rather, dog? It's
I
gotta
hear
be
ya.
worse.
Yeah, if
It's
you
just balls, and they are long, they are hairy, and they are very elderly looking. Guys,
Well, I mean,
I think I gotta go mouth.
you're right. From the nose up.
Yeah.
Back it to 10.
you would think. I mean, as you get older, you'd probably rather just have the mouth, right? Eventually, you're just gonna be like just eating and chilling.
So you're saying the sex
I'm
drive?
thinking about the long haul here, because if it's a permanent change, I mean,
You're thinking Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, early dinners with the wife, and then we're just going to bed. No boom boom, no whoopee.
none of that. It's just,
You end up scissoring.
yeah, I don't even know if there's pleasure to be had.
There's no. You're basically when you pee, there's a small little button
under your ear.
under right where you also feed.
It's the same hole.
All right, Vicky, what are you going with this?
Oh, I'm going plastic Barbie parts. for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I'm going, goodbye, boys, you're gone. Yeah. I got to eat, Beckett. You can take that for whatever it's worth. All right, last question. Would you rather get a tattoo of Harvey Weinstein's face on your face? So it's
Oh, God.
Weinstein, and it says, I'm Weinstein's boy. It's small print, obviously.
It says boys with Weinstein.
Boys with Weinstein on your face. Everywhere you go, you can't hide that. Or you have to do a daily podcast live where you're getting subscribers because of the content, but all it is you defending Bill Cosby and Kevin Spacey with all of your being.
Oh man.
What would you rather
Oh my
do?
God, both of these are terrible.
They're the worst case.
Going podcast.
I think I gotta go podcast. You are gonna. I mean, people are gonna.
Good
you're
God.
right. People are just gonna want to fucking kill you.
Gosh, that's tough. Yeah,
Tattoo.
you have to do
You gotta do
podcast.
podcast. A tattoo. But keep in mind, you're doing the podcast till you die. That's the would you rather. There's nothing out of this.
Still going podcast.
Vicky.
Well, eventually Weinstein will be old news and people won't even know what the tattoo is on your face. So that's something to consider.
In the
But-
long term.
Everyone's gonna ask.
In the long term. But I love playing devil's advocate, so I'd probably do the podcast.
I think we're all going podcast. I think the face. You're going.
Well, could you tell people it was
Nope.
Bob Weinstein?
Nope. It's Harvey Weinstein, and you have to act like.
I would just say I'm a fan of his brother.
No, you can't do that.
Really?
If you do that, a loved one.
All right,
Yeah.
whatever. All right, fine, podcast. If I couldn't get away with that, they look very similar.
There's no loopholes. You can't. It's a Harvey Weinstein.
I hear you.
And every time someone asks you about it, you have to go, "Ooh, that's my boy."
All right, fine, podcast.
That's still terrible.
It is.
Okay, guys. Well, I had great fun. I hope you guys did
That's
too. Yep. Chat room, as always. Thank you guys for hanging out and getting weird with us. Anybody have any closing thoughts?
Just rest in peace, Meatloaf.
Right. Oh yeah.
You forgot to bring up my Meatloaf.
Bring it. Take it. End the
Yeah.
podcast.
No,
Yeah.
last week I didn't even realize that Meatloaf had passed away till like a day after. Anybody who's like, especially around my age, like listening to Bad Outta Hell and Bad Outta Hell 2, I mean, there was no one like him, and the music that he put out, there was nothing like it. And everybody knows I'm a huge Prince fan, who also was very unique. So he was just another one of those artists, and he was also into the paranormal. He guest starred on several paranormal shows as well. So.
Can we get a taste?
Yeah, here, sing us off.
Yeah, I'll give you the piano. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's end this madness.
But I won't do that.
Ah, there you go, Beckett. Nice. I won't do that. It's a 9.5 hour long song.
Oh, it's great.
Okay, guys, we love you all, and
Bigfoot is real.
What was that? What What's that sound? It's aliens and they're living in your town. They have arrived. They're all around. So many aliens living in your town. Are you scared of aliens? Well, you should be. Cause aliens wanna probe around in your booth.